time on Muth, the film guy.
The 1954 Godzilla movie is a classic film filled with symbolism of the Hiroshima and Nagasaki dropping of bombings, and it's so dramatic and very well done. I highly recommend you watch it. I also did a review for Lady Death. Anybody remember that movie? And then a week later, after the success of the original 1954 Godzilla movie, they decided to make a sequel, and 6 months later they made it. And they re-released the film in America in 1959 as Gigantus the Fire Monster, and, well, they did terribly in the box office. Doing this whole thing because the American version of this movie had a character named Vegeta, so, I mean, yeah.
Now to the review.
Hello everyone, I'm Muth, the film guy. Don't believe it? Look it up. And yeah, I know it's a different location from what I'm usually filming in, but because I'm here and it is Christmas, see the Christmas tree? I mean, obviously I haven't forgotten about Christmas. But seriously though, the movie that I'm here to review is King Kong vs. Godzilla. Now, of course, there are two versions of this movie. Now, there is the American version, which was released by Universal, and there's the original Japanese version, which was released in Japan by Toho, but was never re-released in America until 2019. And the reason why they haven't been releasing the Japanese version is because Universal says that they don't, because nobody wants to see the original Japanese version. Really? Because I'm pretty sure Kong fans and Godzilla fans would love to see this film out and stuff like that. But I digress. So, this is King Kong vs. Godzilla. The movie begins with a 30-year anniversary, because this was actually the 30th year anniversary for Toho. Because, you know, what better way to celebrate their anniversary than with Godzilla, which is one of their more popular monsters. And Kong too, so you know, hey, can't go wrong with that. Hey. So the movie begins with a full-fledged television show, and it's ran by this guy named Taco, or Takeo, or you get the idea. And he sends, and they find out about this island called Faroe Island. This is the island where Kong is living right now. It's not the same island as Skull Island, it's a different island. And so Takeo sends two of his people over to Faroe Island. But then there's a submarine called Seahawk, and they are basically going through icebergs, and I don't know the real reason why they're going through icebergs. I think the reasoning is because they just really want to get Godzilla out. So pretty much they get stuck in an iceberg, and so the Seahawk pretty much gets taken, and Burn is destroyed because Godzilla is out and about now. And because there's more advertisement for Godzilla by newspapers, Taco basically says, go get the monster. Which the two actually find out is actually King Kong. And is pretty much worshipped by Japanese people in brown face. Yeah, I don't know why. Just mm, I, I don't know why. But anyways, let's just move on from that. So pretty much the two basically go on an expedition, but then Kong roars and a mountain explodes, and then they have to run away. And then one of the two basically gets sick. And then a giant octopus comes in and pretty much attacks a hut which has a child who's getting the berries for the sick guy, and pretty much the mother is basically there, and she's like, "What the hell are you doing?" And then they just like, and then the octopus just attacks. That's when Kong comes out the from behind his wall, which I mean, they didn't really exactly explain why they built the wall. I mean, Kong is big enough to literally go past the wall and literally destroy it. And so Kong basically fights the octopus, which the octopus goes on top of Kong and basically spews slime all over the puppet. I wish I could not make that any dirtier than it sounded. But meanwhile, a character that has an original name, played by Kinji Sahara, who, if I were to say, Kinji Sahara was in the first Godzilla movie as a passenger on a boat, and then later on, Kinji Sahara was in other kaiju movies. But the character that Kinji Sahara is playing is named differently in the Japanese version, but because I really want to keep up consistency and because I just did really film that whole entire thing earlier, and I did draw that whole thumbnail, I might as well say that his name is Vegeta, because you can make multiple jokes about Vegeta in this review. Like, he can go over 9,000. So, pretty much, they take Kong. Kong is asleep, and they go take him on a raft. And Taco goes over to where the two are, and basically they have a conversation about Kong. And then they realize that Kong can't go on to Japanese soil because he's actually seen as a nuisance. Yeah. So pretty much, Kong starts to wake up, and so they have to blow up the raft. And they can't, and shenanigans happens, and Taco accidentally almost blows it up, but it turns out that the wires were faulty, so they had to shoot the mines off of mines on Kong's raft, and so the raft explodes. But then Kong comes out alive and ready to go. Yeah. So Kong makes it to Japan, and Godzilla is roaming through the countryside. The train that the Vegeta's girlfriend is on the train and is stopped by Godzilla, and Vegeta's girlfriend gets left behind by everyone else, so she's on her own because Godzilla's still around, walking around. But then Vegeta finds her and just grabs her and takes her away from Godzilla. Uh, there's a whole difference in between the American version and the Japanese version. I highly recommend you go check out Paper Finn's comparison between the two movies. He actually does a way more better job at comparing the two than I would ever. But on to the other stuff, shall we? So, so Kong and Godzilla meet up for the first time, and Kong starts throwing boulders at Godzilla, but then Godzilla throws a flame right at Godzilla, pretty much his atomic breath at Kong, sorry, and Kong's like, oh crap, run away. Yeah, Kong kind of runs away when this happens. And so there's plans for Godzilla. The army digs a big, huge hole, and Godzilla falls into it and explodes. But Godzilla comes crawling out anyways because, he's Godzilla. And so they also set up a whole entire defense with um with high tension wires and towers. And guess what happens? It works. Yeah, I have a huge problem with this one because if we remember in the first Godzilla movie, Godzilla pretty much goes through the high tension towers like it's nothing. Here, he basically touches the wires and hits them and it shocks him. And he runs away like a pansy. Are you kidding me? His that should not be a weakness, nor should a wall of fire. Anyways, so Kong goes through Tokyo and pretty much does destroy things, and so pretty much Kong finds Vegeta's girlfriend and has a Fei Ray moment with her. Yeah, apparently Kong has a crush over this one girl who apparently is just random to him. Yeah, I do have a bit of a problem with this one because this one's just random. He just grabs a woman because he likes her and then just climbs the Tokyo metropolitan area, I think. And he and then they decide to basically drug him up because he has to fall asleep. And so they use the drum beats like the islanders use on Kong to make him fall asleep, kind of like a lullaby. And it works. and then and then pretty much they decide to pretty much get Fumiko, who is Vegeta's girlfriend, out of there. And they decide to basically use Vegeta's wire because Vegeta made a wire that basically can hold people up for a long time. But that looks very much like a stool of thread, which is a pretty cool idea. But I'm pretty sure that Kong would be heavier than just having little wires around him. But apparently it works, and they float him over towards where Godzilla is, near Mount Fuji, where the battle begins. King Kong and Godzilla pretty much battle it out. Kong takes a big, huge beating from Godzilla, and Godzilla just like keeps firing his atomic breath on Kong, and you know, Kong basically gets knocked out for maybe a second, but then is like he gets hit by lightning. I'll explain later why that is, how that's a power for some odd reason for Kong. I'll explain later. And then Kong becomes strong again, and then uses his lightning powers on Godzilla, which then he keeps punching him, and electricity keeps coming out of Kong's fist to make Godzilla hurt, which again makes no sense why Godzilla's weakness is electricity. Because again, first movie, yeah, I guess I made that weakness so that way Kong can beat Godzilla. Oh. So pretty much Kong beats Godzilla, and they go towards a Flagoda, which pretty much gets knocked over, and Kong and Godzilla go down into the water, and Kong comes out victorious. Now, here's the thing about the ending. The double ending is complete bull because Godzilla doesn't die, nor does Kong die. The Japanese version just has the Godzilla roar come first before Kong's roar, before it says the end. So that's the only difference between the two. I mean, pretty much. And the movie did well in the box office. Toho really liked that success very much, so they decided to make more Godzilla movies, with Godzilla versus Mothra being the next film. But we're going to take a bit of a break for now. But first off, let's go ahead and talk about why Kong has the electricity ability in this movie. Well, there's a huge history behind this. I highly recommend you go watch the Wikizilla, their history, their story behind Godzilla, because that one's interesting. But long story short, originally it was a Willis O'Brien production. Originally it was going to be called Kong versus Frankenstein, but then became Kong versus Miko, and then Kong versus Prometheus, and then it went to Toho by John Beck, who basically sold it to Toho to basically make a few $1,000s. and they were originally going to make King Kong versus Frankenstein, but then they decided to make Godzilla be the enemy of Kong. And the reasoning why Kong has the lightning abilities was because Frankenstein was going to be originally going to be the original opponent for Godzilla. I've already made videos on this before, but unfortunately they're gone, so they're probably going to come in later on. So that's pretty much it. Godzilla and so Kong basically took the whole entire power of electricity in the movie. So that's how it became. So King Kong versus Godzilla was a huge success and actually got more tickets sold, more money sold, and it's actually one of the more viewed monster movies ever released by Toho. You know, and you can understand why, because it's Godzilla versus Kong. People want to see this, and that's why they're remaking it for next year, or they've already remade it, and we're still waiting for a trailer for that thing. Guys, we're waiting. But then again, there's Wonder Woman. So, hey, Wonder Woman might actually show Godzilla versus Kong teaser. Please, please. Okay. I will do a reaction to that movie, to that trailer, because I want to. But for now, I highly recommend you go check out the people that I just told you about, Paper Fins and Wikizilla, because those guys know more about this film. Next time I'm gonna do a little something different. I'm probably going to take a bit of a break with Godzilla for now. Probably gonna do 2 movies. What movie should I do next? Let's see. Oh. Maybe I should keep going with this King Kong thing, shall I? Next time I'm going to do the original 1933 King Kong and the 1976 King Kong, both at the exact same, both in 2 reviews. So, yeah. Oh, yeah. I should probably say this. Big Jack Films. If you're probably watching this, which you're probably not, but if you are, even though you are doing a review for Kong versus Godzilla, I know somebody else. Doesn't mean that there isn't a CW review. There's more Kong to do. Anyways, I'm Muth, the film guy. Don't believe it, look it up. And remember, Godzilla's king, and Godzilla's gonna win. I know, he's gonna win. He's gonna do it. Team Godzilla. Yeah. Yeah. Bye.